Hey, what's up, guys? This is PBnJ. I'm John. I'm back with another episode. Jesse's back. He missed one podcast, but he's back today. What's up, Jesse?
It was a second podcast. You guys can skip it.
Which one was sucky? The one that you were on or the one I was on?
We gotta have a vote. We have to have a fan vote. Which one was more sucky?
I'm suckier.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you admitted it. Yeah, from that podcast, I noticed that you didn't. You mentioned like the first time you went to Comic-Con, you were like telling people to pace themselves, right? So, but you didn't get into why you want people to do that. Like, is that from your personal experience or what?
Why are you gonna bring your bullshit? I know exactly where Brian is taking this.
I actually totally forgot about it. Brian reminded me, and I was like, "Oh, that's right. That first year you were there, you wanted to go party that Wednesday.
You want to party? You want to do a bunch of stuff, and then by like Saturday morning, like we didn't even see you until like Kevin Smith. That was like 6 p.m. or something.
Yeah.
Hey, do we even count that as the first year? I don't know if that's technically the first year. Yeah, the guys are right. The first year, I didn't go with you guys, right? Didn't I go with Miguel?
Yeah, you were with Miguel. You met us down there.
Yeah, that's what it was. So we actually stayed our first Airbnb. So that's where we introduced the whole Airbnb into our yearly routine after that, because it was a cool concept. It's like, why get a small little hotel room when you can get something a little bit bigger? So me and my cousin were able to get something really close to the other side of the tracks, and like he said, we kind of met up with John and his crew of guys, or like 6 guys in a room or something.
Yeah, there was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a big old sausage fest. We went into that little room. And yeah, he's right. I was like getting ready to party, and I was like, "Hey, dude, let's go to strip clubs. Let's do this." I heard there was a bunch of parties in Gastown. Yeah, on Saturday morning, I just couldn't wake up. My feet were hurting off the walking. I was not prepared for. I thought it was gonna be like WinterCon, So I didn't think it was gonna be that bad, and so yeah, I couldn't make it that. It was Saturday, right?
It was Saturday, yeah, because. Miguel met us. Yeah, Miguel met us at Hall H, and we were like, "Hey, where's Jesse?" And he was like, "Oh, he's still asleep. He's still in the room."
I tapped out. I went to go meet up with somebody else too.
Yeah, and then you rolled up like at 6 p.m. after the Kevin Smith panel.
Hey, I walked in perfectly at Kevin Smith. It ended the Comic-Con weekend for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did miss out on the Iron Man 2, right?
Yeah, I think it
would have been 3.
It would have been 3. Yeah, it was Iron Man 3.
Yeah, where Stark comes in, we came up with a big old glove, and I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah, that was funny. I totally forgot about that. Brian brought it up, and he was like, "Yeah, I remember Jesse wanted to go out and stuff Wednesday. We were all just chilling in the room, just chilling. We had gotten something to eat, and you were like, let's go. And quit being a bunch of babies. Let's go." And we were like, no, trust us on this one. Just chill. Sure enough.
I didn't understand what Paul H was.
Yep. Jesse learned the hard way. He had to sleep for a whole day to recover.
I did.
I can tell you that what you saw on YouTube, it's like 10 times better if you were there.
Yeah, just get that and magnify that by 100.
When's the next Comic-Con you're going to go to, buddy?
Oh.
Ooh, low blow.
Got me.
We kid. We'll post photos.
Maybe if we feel like it.
Yeah.
We might be.
Like, we won't make it private. We'll let you in.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like they said, you guys need to learn pacing and fun and games if you're really a fan, because you get to miss other stuff. So was it worth it with what I did? Probably not.
That's all right. We said that was more of a trial run con.
Exactly.
The next year you got it. We had it. We were good.
No. I still went through the loops. The loops.
You mean the flipping loop or what?
Yeah. Yeah.
save that for another time.
That's gonna be a full like video that what's the name's gonna storyboard that John's gonna storyboard for us.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't there, so he can I'll explain to him, and then he'll do
No,
his
I
best
was
to
talking about that first whole year. I'm not talking about this. We're talking about also the time when he left me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm not sure if you heard the podcast. I ratted you out. How you left me.
I heard it.
I told people how you.
Yeah, I do it again.
Oh, who else was in there? Sting too, right? No, was that?
Yeah. That was the very first WWE appearance for Sting ever anywhere. That was actually really cool. I didn't expect that.
Whatever.
It's a good thing you got in. Brian
Right.
left there and ditched you.
Okay, it's okay. I like gorgeous ladies of wrestling better than WWF. Anyway.
Well, speaking of that, like this year's WWE panel, it's all like the women wrestlers.
Ooh, the Divas?
Yeah. Well, they're not called Divas anymore, but yeah, they're.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
whole.
you should check. It's like Thursday morning at the same time.
Yeah. That panel was like the first one of the day, right?
Yeah.
We can't do that. We're doing the Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones or Walking Dead?
Oh no, Westworld.
I thought you wanted to do Walking Dead, dude.
Wait, no. On Thursday?
Yeah, it's Walking Dead has the same thing. They have an experience.
I thought it was Westworld and oh, that's right. We did talk about it. We have to do Walking Dead first because of the time differences.
Yeah, because I think on Friday it's like at 1 or something like that.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be too late.
It's gonna be too late, so we'll do it Thursday, and then Friday we'll do Westworld.
And that should lead up to the fact that schedules are not officially out.
Yeah, schedule's out.
Yeah, probably our next podcast, unless we have some time today, we'll probably talk about that.
Yeah, probably on our next one because we'll get pretty. That one will get pretty in depth. All kinds of stuff throughout the day and the whole weekend. So probably we'll save that for our next podcast. But today we wanted to talk about the newest superhero movie to come out this year, Spider-Man. We all checked it out over the weekend. I was the last one to see it. I didn't see it until Sunday, so I was lagging. Jesse was trying to give me spoilers Thursday night.
And actually, even during the viewing.
Yeah.
I was sending him text, hoping he didn't watch it until after you watched was watching the movie.
Yeah. No, you texted me right as like the movie was about to get cracking. Right was about to start. I looked at it. But what'd you think? How'd you guys like Spider-Man?
I actually did like it. There were certain issues that I've had with some of the things, but overall, I think it was a really good movie. I think they did really good with it. It's obviously way better than the last 4 movie. I think the first Spider-Man was actually decent. The second one was kind of saved by Doc Ock, but the third one sucked, and then the new Amazing Spider-Mans just kind of both sucked, except for what's her name?
You know her name.
I know, but I don't think of her as name. I think of her as an object.
Because stone, right? Stone. That's how you remember. It's an object, so therefore stone. Yeah.
Oh man, I saved.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not gonna work. Emma Stone. Sorry, babe. You're just hot. Sorry. But once me and you get to know each other, then obviously I won't think of you as an object. I'll think of you as a person. So I think you need to correct that issue by coming and talking to me. Well.
So Brian, what did you think about Spider-Man?
Well, yeah, like Jesse said, like it's better than the Amazing Spider-Man, the 2 movies. But yeah, it was good. I like that they didn't spend time on the origin story again.
Right.
I don't think we need to watch that where he gets bit by a spider and go through all that stuff again. And it picks up right where he goes where Civil War happens, where he goes on that flight over to Berlin to fight at the airport. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of for what everything that happens after that. And so it kind of gives you like a pretty good timeline of when that story happens, and when it ends. Because by the end of the movie, they moved the Avengers building to upstate New York, where you see, their new headquarters in the other Marvel movies. So you kind of have an idea like when it takes place. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like the action scenes. The story I thought was pretty good. I don't have any problems with really anything with the story actually. Yeah, I just enjoyed the movie from start to end.
I think what makes this one cool is that they show Spider-Man having fun, right? He likes being Spider-Man. He likes swinging around and saving people on the streets and stuff. And yeah, I think that was a problem with Amazing Spider-Man, both of them, 1 and 2, was that he was kind of mopey. I thought Andrew Garfield, like he was like, oh, I want to be with the girl, but I can't because I'm Spider-Man, and he came off kind of mopey that way. Whereas in this one, he's a kid, 15 years old, and he's having fun. And they show like throughout the day, he's like watching the clock and he can't wait to get out of class. And as soon as class is over, he runs to an alley, changes into Spider-Man, and does Spider-Man the rest of the night. And he loves it. He's like trying to impress Tony and stuff. So he's really pushing it, but he's having fun. And that's what I like about the movie. The whole tone of the movie is it's a fun movie, and it's super funny, right? Like the whole movie is really, really funny, and it's a good time. Whereas the last one, especially Amazing Spider-Man 2, it got like, I don't want to say dark, but it was kind of gloomy, kind of like he didn't really want to be there as Spider-Man, like almost like it was a burden. And whereas this one, you can tell that he's having a good time. And then also keeping it in high school was, I think, was a totally. I mean, he was in high school for the other movies, but only for like he'd be in high school for the first movie and then he'd graduate, right? Whereas this one, he's like really young. He's gonna be in high school for a while, and you can see he's dealing with the high school stuff, like the girl. He likes the girl, but it's not like in the other movies where he's like super in love with her. He just kind of has like a crush on her and would act kind of goofy around her, but then that's it. Then it moved on, and he went on to do Spider-Man stuff. So it was cool in that it was Spider-Man, but it was also different than the other ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. He in the movie they would show scenes where the girl's like always trying to pull at him to spend time with her instead, but he always makes the decision to do the right thing and be the superhero. So I thought that was really cool, especially towards the end when he meets the girl's dad and he threatens him, and he's still like when he walks into the homecoming party, he just apologized to her, and like right there that even though he got threatened, even though his identity's been exposed, he still wants to do the right thing. So yeah, it's like 180 from like the Amazing Spider-Man series, where the theme was like he has a big responsibility because he has those superpowers. So he has a big burden that he has to carry on all the time, whereas this one, he doesn't have that. It's more like you said, he's more about having fun, but still doing the right thing, which is to be like a superhero to help save people, even if it's like the smallest thing. Like in the beginning when he was just like trying to steal the bike back get the bike back from the guy, but he doesn't even know who
yeah. He just like,
or when he tried to stop the guy from like breaking into the car when it's like his own car.
Yeah. And like all the neighbors all yelling at him and stuff. Yeah.
And Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley. And that's what's cool too. Like that's what I also like too, that he made a lot of mistakes in this one.
You know what? That's what I liked about this one too. I think because I think Brian hit it on the nose where this is an equal mix of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Because in the other movies, like the first Spider-Man was all mostly Peter Parker, and then the second one tried to be more Spider-Man. But this one is like equal. I mean, he's a young kid, got his powers, and obviously they're still new because he doesn't have a Spidey sense, and you see him, he trips on the roof.
Yeah.
Like, he's running across the roof and he trips on the roof. It's like it's not like he was jumping or anything. He just straight out, boom.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm okay. And I think that's what's cool about this, because you don't go back through the origin story, because it's funny because he tells his buddy, oh yeah, the spider died. Like, so he basically told his buddy how he became Spider-Man, but we all know as an audience how he became Spider-Man. So
right.
You don't have to put that on me. You obviously don't know what happened to Uncle, because obviously what some of the biggest mythos of the Spider-Man series is Uncle dies, great power comes great responsibility, and that's why he becomes Spider-Man. So you don't know if that ever happens. That might be something that might happen in the second one, but there might be a small reference because he says, "I don't want to do that to Aunt May."
Yeah. He didn't want her to to know about it because of all the stuff she went through, and that's about it. And they just drop it.
And that's what I kind of liked about it. There's small references to bigger things, and if you're a fan, you catch on to that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I was telling other guys I talked to, who's a graphic artist and is also into comics. He's like, you see a lot of throwback to like old covers or old designs. Like for the Shocker guy, you see the same colored shirt, like
the jacket, yeah.
So even
Tom Hardy,
even
right? Tom Hardy.
Yeah. We'll come up to that. But no. But was he the one wearing it, or was the black guy?
They both were. He was wearing it first because it had the dampeners in the sleeves, and then when the other guy took it, he had to put on the jacket too.
So that's what I'm saying. And then not only that, you saw the bomber jacket that what's name was wearing with the fur for the Vulture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, there was they threw a lot of nods to the Spider-Man world, and unless you're a fan, you wouldn't have caught that. You would have been like, oh yeah, whatever. They're wearing a bomber jacket. Who cares? You know. But you don't see the fur. You don't see like, oh dude, you know. So I think that's what they did better with this movie. They did a little bit of the high tech with the Iron Man stuff or whatever. That was kind of interesting, but they still kept a lot of it like old school. You know, he was shy, with the girls and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think that was a good thing that they did with this movie. They really did a good job about that.
Yeah, and you brought up the tech, and I was talking about this with my roommate, how when you look at the origins of all these villains from like when they debuted in the 60s, their origins are really, really like cheesy and goofy. Whereas, so they didn't do those origins, they changing them, they're kind of making them a little more modern to where these guys they're basing their tech off of stolen Stark tech and off of stolen, the alien wreckage and stolen Ultron stuff, and they're making this tech, and that's how they're becoming the villains. It's not like, oh, I got bit by a radioactive scorpion and I got bit. A lab experiment exploded and I got powers. It was just like, no, they're just making tech and they're making weapons and they're becoming thugs. Like, that's a little more, well, I want to say believable in this superhero world, but you know what I mean? It's a little bit more modern. It's more believable, right? Like the Vulture as a villain, he's not like this big grand villain, Whiplash in Iron Man 2, who like hated Stark and he had to kill Stark and he made his own Iron Man suit to get at Stark. Or like Ultron wants to destroy the world. The villain is just a guy who got screwed over, lost his job, so he was gonna make a living, and he made a living by stealing tech and selling weapons, and became a weapons dealer on the street. Like that's more believable motive, I guess is what I'm trying to say. He's just trying to make money. He felt he got screwed over, he lost that contract, and he's just gonna make money any way he knows how, and this is how he does it. So I thought that was cool. It kept it like the motive is more believable than being like this super evil villain like Red Skull guy where you're like, oh, he's just a comic book guy. Where this guy, you're like, you can kind of like, yeah, I can see that. I get it. I get what this guy's doing.
He's more of a likable villain. Like, you could take his side.
Yeah.
Like, you don't automatically hate him. Like, he's not gonna be like Doc Ock and like you said, and just kill everybody because everybody's stupid. There's a reason behind why he's doing his stuff. He's doing it to protect his family, and that gives him more of a human aspect. That's why when you see him, like that, when you find out that he's Leslie's Liz's father, you're like, holy shit! Okay, now you know why he's doing it.
Yeah.
He's doing it, and he even gets pissed off at his own guys for doing it for the wrong reason.
Right.
He's like, we're not trying to be greedy. We're not trying to be whatever. We're doing this to support our families or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, he was like,
so,
yeah, he got mad because they were shooting him in the park, and he's like, dude, we're trying to be low profile. We want no attention. We don't want the Avengers on them. They're just trying to make a buck. That's it.
Well, yeah, that's the same thing he told Peter Parker too, right? Like he just stop what you're doing, just leave me alone, and let me just continue to do my thing, and that's it. Like
that's
it's
it.
Not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
like,
more.
No, it's not going to go outside of Brooklyn. Like it's only here.
Yeah.
And that's why he just wants to keep it local, because then he won't, like, the Avengers aren't going to even see somebody locally. Unless it's somehow globally or something, the Avengers aren't going to.
Right. Yeah, they're just selling weapons to the local gangs and stuff, and that's it. They're not trying to.
It's like the DA is not going to bust a low end pot smoker, but they will go after somebody in the cartel.
Yeah.
Some same thing.
Michael Keaton, I thought, killed it as the Vulture. I thought he did great. But I mean, he's a good actor. It's Michael Keaton, right? Um,
Of course, he's like Batman.
yeah, it's freaking Batman, and
Love Batman.
towards the end of the movie, what I realized is he's not just this is just my speculation, what I picked up from it, but he's not just going to be in this movie and that's it. The other Marvel movies, they kind of sometimes they killed off their villains, like Whiplash, Obadiah Stane, and Iron Man, Killian. Actually, yeah, Killian in Iron Man 3, Red Skull, maybe, Malekith and Thor. Like, they killed off a lot of their villains, Ultron, maybe. But they didn't. He didn't die. Michael Keaton doesn't die in this movie. And towards the end, I realized that I think what they're doing with him is they're going to use him as the replacement for Norman Osborn. Or, yeah, Norman. The producer, Feige, was saying that we've already seen too much of the Osborns, right? They were the focus of the first original 3, and then they were also in Amazing Spider-Man 2 when Harry came in. And so basically what he said was that we're just not going to see the Osborns anytime soon in these new movies. And after going through this movie, I realized, especially when he figured out who Spider-Man was, which was a great scene, right? When they're in the car.
Yeah.
And he pieces it together. So he's a smart guy. You see that. And so he knows Spider-Man, and he doesn't give him up. Or he gets locked up. He doesn't say who he is. He's going to hold that for himself. So I think I was like, you know what? I think he's going to be the driving villain through the rest of the Spider-Man movies, however many they're going to do. I think he's going to be the guy in the background plotting and pulling the strings on everything. And I think
in the comic, he knows his identity too, right? Like, that's how somebody gets killed.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be the main guy, and I think he's going to form the Sinister Six is what I think he's going to happen. You already have, right, you have his team, you have the Shocker, and you have the Tinkerer. Those are his guys, but Michael Mondo, who plays Nacho in Better Call Saul, is in this movie as Matt Gargan, and fans of the comics know that's the Scorpion.
Yeah.
So, and then in that credit scene, he tells them he has friends. They're both locked up in jail, and he has friends on the outside who want a piece of Spider-Man too. So I think they're planting the seeds for the Sinister Six, which is what the Amazing Spider-Man movies wanted to do, but they failed miserably at it. They were just like beating you over the head with it, right? They're like, oh, they're gonna make this whole new universe, whereas this one's a little more subtle. So yeah, I think Michael Keaton's gonna be sticking around. I think the Vulture's gonna be maybe the big bad for Spider-Man going forward. I think that's pretty cool because I honestly didn't know what was gonna happen with Michael Keaton. Is he just for this movie? I know he's a big time actor. He doesn't really do a lot of sequels and stuff, other like since Batman Returns way back. But I think keeping him around and making him a focal point of the series, I think that's really cool. I think it's also smart too.
He can carry it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when you think about it, in the Sinister Six, who do you think would be the more dominant the characters? Doc Ock, right?
Yeah, Doc Ock or, the Green Goblin wasn't in it, right? The first one? He was in the Sinister Six, right? It was Doc Ock, right? He was the leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think that the only other thing would be if they bring Doc Ock into the Sinister Six, there might be competition because of the high level of ability. I mean,
yeah,
it might be
their intellect.
I mean, if it's just him, though, I mean, he's a really good actor. I think he can pull off the whole leadership. I mean, he obviously has a crew, so
right. He's already running a crew when the movie starts. So, and also that's another one too. Was Feige said that they're kind of hesitant on doing Doc Ock because of Alfred Molina. His performance in Spider-Man 2 was so good that Feige basically said that dude knocked it out of the park. How do you approach that again? Like, do you even want to approach it or just leave it? So it's possible that he might not even bring in Octopus, which would leave Michael Keaton as the leader, which is cool. Which is like it's a good person to have as the leader of the Six. Now it's just a matter of who's going to come in. Like, Scorpion, I think.
Rhino.
You can bring in the Rhino. Not sure if they'll do Sandman again. Maybe someone like Kraven the Hunter, Chameleon, his brother, Mysterio could be another guy.
See, I don't see Kraven being able to do this. Because that's another person who wants a lot of attention. So I think he would be like a show stealer if he was part of the Sinister Six. I think it would have to be like low level. I mean, for Michael Keaton to be still like Vulture to be in charge. I think if anything, it'd be something people would tech, because that's also more believable, like Rhino.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe like Mysterio, because that could maybe something have to do with maybe Doctor Strange, or like the mysticism or some shit like that.
The Mysterio would be cool because I think with the effects nowadays, man, you can do all kinds of stuff with that guy. like
Yeah.
his illusions. You just won't know what's real and what's not. Like that would be some really cool stuff. And Mysterio is actually not. He doesn't have any magical powers or anything. It's all tech. It's all movie magic that he uses. So he could totally fit right in to this crew. And same thing with Chameleon, Craven's brother. He doesn't have a power to where he shapeshifts like Mystique or something. He just uses high tech masks to get into where he needs to go, and he impersonates other people, and that's why he's the Chameleon. It's not so much a power. It's just tech. So that they all fit in there. And it'll fit into this universe they're establishing, this Spider-Man universe with this low level villains based on tech. All those guys fit in there.
And they've already shown the tech is available, because if you remember the big transfer of the airplane, they did the stealth where it blended in with the lighting and stuff.
Yeah.
So the tech is in that world. So like you said, if the Comedian can use some similar tech, that Shield has or something, then that makes sense. Would any of these other be enemies of like the Ant-Man, or I'm just thinking of then maybe other movie tie-ins, even though technically this is still Sony.
Maybe you can probably bring in some even lower level Iron Man guys like Whirlwind and Living Laser, guys like that. You can even bring those dudes in because they're all tech based as well. They all got like lower level Iron Man suits and reconfigured them for their own benefit, and they became criminals. So you can have more stuff with Iron Man and Ant-Man and stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because they could always blame it to the time when he was fighting Gideon and he had all these robots.
Yep.
Destroying on the pier. So it was like, oh, we came and picked up that.
Yeah, you totally can. It all fits in there. And I can kind of see what Sony's doing there with Marvel, the Spider-Man's little world, where these tech bigs, they're like a step up from like the Netflix characters, right? The Netflix with they're more dealing with like the Mob, the Hand, stuff like that, and then like it's looking like Spider-Man and is going to go more like a little above that, where you guys are having this advanced tech, making advanced weapons and stuff. And then, of course, the next step is like the Avengers level stuff.
And you know what? I want to go, and I forgot to mention this early on, but are you going to give them props for the way that they really tied in the MCU world to the Spidey world?
Oh, yeah.
Because they've kept it in an order of, well, we talked about this earlier, how the time, if you look at chronological time, it's off. But in the way of order of events, everything is to the dot, everything fits in. References here and there all match up with the MCU world. So I think that they did a really good job of that.
Yeah, and there's like one scene, I don't know if you noticed it, but the principal of the high school, I don't know, Brian, I don't know if you saw this too. The principal.
Yeah, the war picture, and that links back to like
to Captain America. Yeah, that was his grandfather was one of the Howling Commandos in Captain America: First Avenger, and they just use the same actor. That's pretty funny. So he has a picture of himself in World War II gear up in his office.
That's funny.
Yeah, so those stuff like that they even put in there. And there's also another one that I learned yesterday was the criminal that was played by Donald Glover. When Spider-Man was interrogating, he's the Prowler, the Spider-Man villain, and he mentions he has a nephew that lives in that area, and his nephew is Miles Morales. Yeah, I thought that was really cool that they threw that in there.
But it also, you wonder, what does that mean? Does that mean anything at all? It was just a nod to the character.
The producer said that it is a nod to the fans, but it's also letting you know that he does exist and he is there, and maybe down the road that can bring him in. But it's basically they're establishing him right now.
When Holland gets too expensive and too old.
When he ages up. Yeah, I mean it could be a long ways because he's even younger than Peter Parker. Like in the current continuity right now, Parker's like in his early 30s now, and then Miles Morales is in high school.
Makes sense.
So he would be like a baby when he referenced him. Oh, I have a nephew who lives out here. He could have been like a couple years old. But yeah, no, this movie did a really good job of dropping stuff like that in there to where it's fully in the Marvel universe. There's no mistake in it.
So what about Venom? Like, where is he playing this? Like, is he? I know that he's going to be separate from like the MCU universe, but do you think they're going to like at least reference him or have any type of clues or hints in the movie that would link it towards the Venom story?
The short answer is no. He's from what they've been saying, the Venom movie is not going to be a part of the MCU. So they'll have Venom, they'll have Carnage, and there would be no Spider-Man in those movies. They won't even mention a Spider-Man because in those movies there is no Spider-Man. Sony is establishing their own universe with the Spider characters, and they're not actually going to use Spider-Man, which I don't get. I still think that's
so close, right? It's
yeah.
like having Wolverine and then not having him as part of the Avengers. It's It's like everything is there, but they just can't get it to put them on the screen together.
It's like it sucks. I don't get so. Unfortunately, that's when we're talking about the Sinister Six and we're listing the villains. I didn't say that's why I didn't bring in Venom or Carnage because they're not available to the MCU as characters. They can't use them at all. Sony's using them. And then from what I'm reading too is that it's not going to be Venom. The parasite's not going to be a parasite from space. It's going to be from the Ultimate Universe where they were trying to make a kind of like a biosuit for like astronauts and stuff. So like you can go into like harsh conditions in space underwater, but they don't realize what they're making and they lose control of it and it becomes its own AI and becomes aware and it becomes the Venom suit. So they're not even using the alien aspect of it. So they're changing a lot and I don't like it. They're going to have to get some really talented people to get on that to make that into a viable story that people are going to like. If you're changing everything, all the fundamentals about the character.
Well, see, like, how are you gonna make Carnage out of freaking suit? So is it gonna be basically like Ultron? One AI evolves and mutates to another one. That just
I don't see. In the Ultimate Universe, Carnage was a clone of Gwen Stacy. That
what the fuck?
Yeah. So in the Ultimate,
yeah.
Yeah, so in the Ultimate Universe, when they started up the Clone Saga in the Ultimate Universe, when the Jackal came out with making clones, in the Ultimate Universe, like one of his first clones became Carnage. It was like a clone, but he didn't quite have the science down yet, so it was a clone of Gwen Stacy, and then it mutated into Carnage, pretty much. So it really wasn't. It wasn't a real offspring of Venom. It was its own thing. It was a failed clone, pretty much. So I don't know if they're gonna do that, if they're gonna go that way, or they're gonna have. Maybe it's another suit that just has a different personality. I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's going to be an offspring of Venom like in the regular Marvel Universe.
And Tom Hardy signed off on this? I mean, I would have read the script and been like, wait, what?
Yeah, he did. He signed off on it, and I guess I guess they have some good stuff cooking. I don't know, but I didn't like that when I read that report. I thought, oh man, that's already getting off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, and like not having Spider-Man in the story means like Brock's backstory is missing too, right? Like it's going to have to be completely different.
Yeah. Brock, his whole motivation, the whole reason the alien chose him was because of his hatred for Spider-Man as well, and that's how they bonded. And if there's no Spider-Man, then I don't know what Eddie Brock's going to do. I don't even know if he's going to be a villain. It sounds like he's going to be more of a hero in the movie. So. It's all whack.
Stupid.
Yeah. Well, hey man, it's Sony. They've shown that they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, they don't know what they're doing with the comic book movies, and so they're gonna give it another shot. Even though Marvel is helping them this time, they're still gonna try it and try to do their own thing.
So this isn't gonna be under the Marvel Studios, then you said?
No, it's just pure Sony.
Okay, then that's good because then they'll fuck up, and then maybe we'll get this back. I don't know.
I don't know. So you'll see the Marvel logo, but it's not gonna be the Marvel Studios logo. It'll just be the Marvel logo because they're using, like in the X-Men movies, they just throw the Marvel up there. So they'll see that, but Marvel Studios is not affiliated with them at all. They're not gonna have anything to do with it.
What they're gonna do is probably kill the Venom in the comic book too, like with Fantastic Four.
Just get rid of it.
Before anybody gets too interested in Venom. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was all excited, and now you just crushed my dreams.
That's what I felt yesterday when I read that write-up. I was like, no, what are you doing? And then they're also planning I think they're trying to ride the coattails of Harley Quinn. Now Harley Quinn is in DC. They're going to make that the Gotham Sirens, where it's going to be Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Huntress, and they're going to have their own movie. I think Sony's trying to backpack off of that, and they're going to make a Black Cat, Silver Sable movie on its own.
Really?
Even though they're two very minor characters. Well, Black Cat isn't. Black Cat's a really big part of Spider-Man's universe, but as in the mainstream, people don't know who Black Cat is. Right off the bat, you think, oh, they're ripping off Catwoman, which they kind of are. And then Silver Sable is her own, like, really minor character when it comes to the mainstream. I don't even know if anyone knows who that is, and they're gonna make a movie just on them. Which again, I don't know. And it's not gonna tie in with Spider-Man, so there's no lead in or build up. I don't know how they're gonna do it.
How did Sony get the rights to those characters? Is it because it falls within the Spider-Man universe, or what?
Yeah, from the original deal, the first deal, when they got all the Spider-Man movie stuff, they had all those characters already all lined up. They were all under their umbrella. And when they made the deal with Marvel, it was just to borrow Spider, because Marvel technically doesn't have Spider-Man back. It's just they're just borrowing him in the Avengers movies, and in return, they produce his solo movies, which is why this one was so good. So Marvel doesn't have any of those back. I did hear something that I think actually it was Batista let it slip in an interview that Marvel is actually trying to find a way to just buy Spider-Man outright from Sony, so they can just use him for whenever they want. So that's a possibility down the road too. But Sony still controls everything.
I think we need to sign a petition before the Venom movie comes out, because I mean, Marvel Studio has Disney money, and that includes Star Wars money, and ESPN money, and Channel 7 News and money. So I think they can be bought out. Either that, or Marvel needs to come out with a console and just blow Sony out of the water, and then they have no choice but to go back and sell back the characters.
I think that's what it is. They're just gonna try and buy them. They're gonna write down a check and say how much is it gonna cost to get.
It's like, if I could buy Star Wars, I can buy Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the same company that bought Pixar. Disney is no joke. That's Little Mouse has a blank checkbook. So it's just like, Sony, sell us back Spidey.
Would it be just Spider-Man, or like everything?
It would probably
just Spider-Man, or is it everything with it?
I think it would be Spider-Man and then a few big characters like Aunt May, Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy. With those characters, it would be those, maybe like Osborn. So that's what I'm assuming. It would be Spider-Man and then the major Spider characters. And they can be like, oh, you can have Black Cat and Silver Sable, maybe even Venom and Carnage if you want. But we'll see how it comes out, because they are going to be able. I think as long as the working relationship is good, like they already had Spider-Man and Civil War. Homecoming comes out, it's awesome, it's making a ton of money, and then they're going to use them in Infinity War coming up. So as long as everything like that keeps going smooth, then it'll be okay. But if Sony starts pulling stuff, then they might try to just buy them out.
Wait, who owns Holland? Who's that contract with Sony or with MCU? With Marvel.
I believe his contract's with Marvel.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I want to say his contract was with Marvel, but it's all. I mean, he's useless to them if they can't use Spider-Man. So it's all like everything's handshake, everything's good right now. But it's once somebody starts trying to pull stuff, which I don't think either of them will. I think Sony, as a company, has been beaten down so much, they're just going to be like, hey, whatever you need, we'll do.
Don't screw up Venom. That's what.
Alright, John. So, since you're the expert with all this Marvel comic book stuff, does the scene where Happy was in the cargo hold area moving all his stuff, he referenced a few things there. From what I remember, there was a belt and a new cap shield, and I think he mentioned the Hulkbuster suit too. So what do you know about it?
The Hulkbuster suit, I don't know if that's if he just meant it was the one he used in Age of Ultron that was partially destroyed fighting the Hulk, or maybe just an old design that he had. I'm not really sure. I don't really think that one was too important. The belt, that actually goes in Norse mythology. Thor he wears a belt and it starts with an M, like Happy. I can't pronounce it. I don't know how to say it, but in Norse.
Just call it magic belt.
Yeah, he goes magic belt. Yeah. So in Norse mythology, what makes Thor strong is when he wears that belt. When he doesn't have the belt on, he's normal. He's a normal person. In the comics, it's not really a thing. He's strong because he's Thor and he's a god. So it was kind of a joke. It was just kind of a joke towards Thor and the nerds who read Thor like me and know what that belt is. It's an old Norse. It's part of the Norse legend, but really wasn't incorporated into the Marvel universe too much. So Thor had he had the hammer, he had the belt, he had an axe, and he had something else as his main weapons, and that's what that belt was. It's like the belt of strength, pretty much. I think it was just a throw in. They don't really use it in the comics. And then he mentions Cap Shield, a new prototype for Cap Shield. since this movie follows the other movies after Civil War, that Cap gave his shield up to Tony. Him and Tony are on the outs. So why does he have a new prototype for a new shield? I think it's because Tony, it's his way of apologizing to Cap when they do get back together, because I think that he knows that they're not going to be enemies forever. There's going to be, actually in the end of the movie of Civil War, remember Cap tells him, if you need me, just call me. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what this is going to be, his way of extending the olive branch is like, hey, I got you the old one you've used for a while, here's a brand new shield with this type of upgrade, maybe a new alloy with whatever, and it's better than the last one. So that's what I think that is. I think it's going to be used as a way to make amends with Cap eventually when they do get back together. And I'm assuming, it's going to have to happen in Infinity War when Thanos comes down. But Tony doesn't know that. Tony just knows that eventually one day they're going to have to work together again. And I think that's going to be his way of making peace.
On the show that Cap had, what was it made out of?
In the movie universe, it's vibranium.
Oh, because I was thinking maybe they'll tie in something with Black Panther and vibranium, because obviously that's what they have there. So that would have made sense. Yeah,
since in the comics, it's a combination of adamantium and vibranium, but because they can't use adamantium in the Marvel universe, in the cinematic universe, it's just pure vibranium.
So would it make it stronger than adamantium by itself then, or what?
No, the what makes vibranium really good in the comics is that it has properties to where, like, if you shot like a gun at it or a rocket, the vibranium is able to absorb the kinetic energy and absorb the blow, and it absorbs the energy and releases it, so that way that's what makes it almost unbreakable. But it's softer than adamantium. So you can mold it, you can shape it, you can do that kind of stuff. Whereas adamantium is just like the hardest surface in the world, and it's super hard to manipulate, like to make Wolverine's bones and stuff. Like, it's really, really hard to do that. So that's what the different properties are. Is that vibranium is almost indestructible, not quite, but it's more manageable. Whereas adamantium is pretty much indestructible, but super hard to manage. So that's the give and take between the two metals. And I think that's also why in the comics there's not that much adamantium. Well, there's not supposed to be that much. Like, they always say it's so rare, but yet everyone has it. Yeah, because it's hard to do something with. Like, you had Wolverine's bones, and then you had Ultron's body was adamantium, and there was a couple other things.
That was vibranium.
What?
I thought that. I thought. Are you talking about in the comics?
In the comics, he's adamantium.
Oh, in the comics.
Yeah. In the movie, he's vibranium.
Well, isn't vibranium and the MCU world from outer space? I know it's in Wakanda, but isn't it?
Yeah. It was like a giant meteor crashed, and in Africa, and that's where Wakanda settled on, and that's why they're the only export of it.
So is that the same thing with adamantium? Is adamantium extraterrestrial, or is that?
No, the adamantium is man-made. I forgot who created it, but whoever created it, they're only able to. I think it was kind of like with the Cap serum, where like the guy who made it was killed or died, and they're not able to reproduce it at a high enough rate as like if he was alive. So that's why there's supposed to be not that much adamantium in the world. There's like a very limited supply, supposedly.
You would think with the experts of like the Fantastic Four and just anybody, Stark, and that they would have figured out how to way to reproduce it. Yeah, I mean the comics, like they say, oh, it's so rare, but yet it pops up everywhere. Yeah. And it's like, oh, he's got adamantium sword and he has adamantium skin. And like, well, what the hell? I thought it was supposed to be super rare. Whereas with vibranium, you can get it. There is a place to get it. You just have to go through Wakanda to get it, which is not easy. The Black Panther in a way. Yeah. And Storm, right? Storm's the queen. In the comics, she was for a while. She was the queen of Wakanda, which was pretty sweet. You had her and Black Panther ruling Wakanda. Like, man, that was badass. Like, try and do something to them. So that with Spider-Man out the way, that leaves Thor coming up in November and Black Panther in February. Have you guys seen the trailers for those, right? Yeah. Is that the reason why that bitch was able to break the Thor hammer? Because he wasn't wearing his belt? Oh, in the trailer for Thor? Yeah. No, she's a god. That's Hela. That's the ruler of hell. She's technically she's a god, so she can do stuff that normal people can normal people can't do. So destroy. Yeah. Yeah, because she's crazy powerful, Hela.
in the comics, or not in the comics, in the Norse mythology, she's Loki's daughter. So I don't know if they're gonna do that in the movie. I doubt it. But she's really powerful, so she can do stuff like that. And then since she rules her own realm, she has certain leeways. So in the movie, like if Thor's in the underworld and she does that, like because it's her, you're in the wrong place. That's her house. So yeah, she's pretty powerful. She's up there. So those two, which one are you guys looking forward to the most, Thor or Black Panther?
I say Thor, just because of I want to see Hulk like just jam on Thor and stuff.
Yeah,
that's gonna be an interesting fight. I mean, in the comic, in the commercial, it's just funny. It's like, oh, I know him.
Yeah,
I work with him. That shows that obviously the movies are gonna follow, like a funny aspect of it and stuff. But then that explains the reason why both of them weren't in Civil War.
Right.
They were both off-world and stuff like that. So.
Which is cool because in the comics they were both off-world and they weren't in Civil War, neither of them. Yeah. So it actually it follows the comics.
Technically, there was a robot copy of.
Yeah, but it wasn't Thor.
He killed somebody, so.
Yeah, but it wasn't Thor. It was just a robot.
And Thor's name Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, yeah. Yeah, no, I've been geeking out over Thor since we saw the trailer last year at Comic-Con. Remember, they just had some concept art. It wasn't, they even had anything. They had nothing shot, nothing. It was just concept art and some 3D models, and the stuff they showed was just sick, and the crowd was going crazy for what they're gonna do. And so I've had that one circled on my calendar since last year. So all these movies, like me and Brian, what we were talking about in the last podcast, is we've had 4 comic book movies come out, and all of them are good. Logan, Guardians, Wonder Woman, now Spider-Man, and then we still got Thor coming. And even though these movies are all good, Thor's the one that I'm the most excited about. Like, Spider-Man was awesome, Wonder Woman was awesome, Guardians is awesome, Logan's awesome, but I'm still like, nah, I'm waiting for this Thor movie. Which I have to be careful because I might be disappointed because of how high I'm setting the bar on this one. But that's the one I'm ready to see.
2 things. One,
yeah.
Do you remember there was that scene in the last, was it Thor or was it Age of Ultron, where he's in the cave and he's looking at water, and then he sees this, like, what's going to happen to his world, and he says he has to go back to Asgard?
Yeah, that was in Age of Ultron.
Okay, and I remember asking about it, and I think you had a comment on that. Like, oh, this is something that's probably going to have to do with the next movie. Do you know what the tie-in is?
The reference, well, if you watch that scene again, is that he sees the gems. He sees all the Infinity Gems. He sees what they all are, and he has to go find them.
Is he going to take it away from Vision? Because obviously one of them is on Vision.
Right. I think either he's on the search for them specifically, or he's just trying to learn more about them. It's kind of vague, but he needs to find out what they are and what their purpose is, and that's why he's going. That will lead into this movie. Man, that's actually kind of crazy. I want to see that. How do they get all the gems, right? Because they're all spread out all over the place. Vision has one. The Nova Corps has one. I think the Collector still has one. Dang, I forgot what the other ones are. Oh, Doctor Strange.
Would he still have one? Because wasn't his shop destroyed when the purple one?
Yeah, they came for the purple one, but he still has the red one.
Correct, because that was the first movie. That was the first time you see Collector.
Yeah, they gave him the red one. Yeah, but they took the purple one, so he still has the red one.
No, I'm just saying his shop destroyed. I mean, you even see he had Howard the Duck there, and all of a sudden Howard the Duck's gone from his collection. So, do you think that maybe it couldn't have gotten lost or something?
No, I think he was, because like that room was destroyed, but it wasn't everything. So I think he still has the red one, and then there's still one more that hasn't been revealed yet, which I think will be revealed in the Thor movie.
Which would be what color? Green?
I think it's orange. Is the next one? Because green was the time one. That was Doctor Strange.
Oh, that's right. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention, which is kind of off topic, but you brought up Logan. Did you guys know that there's a black and white version?
Yeah, I think it got released on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, because like the wife of the graphic artist I just want to see, she's like, have you seen Logan in black and white? It's sadder. Like, I don't want to see it sadder. It's sad enough.
Yeah, I want to check it out because Hugh Jackman says he actually prefers that version.
Yeah, and she said it was actually better too. She said, I saw it in black and white, and I was like, it made me tear up. I'm like, I'm already like choking, It's like, but somebody got killed. You want me to go and see it in black and white? No, thank you. But I want to see high definition. I just kind of letting you guys know. When you said Logan, I want to remember. Yeah. Anyway, one thing I want to gripe about, back to Homecoming. We kind of divulged and we talked about Thor and Black Panther, but I didn't like the fact that they mentioned mention MJ.
Oh,
And there's two things. There's that, and then the fact that Flash was not the bully that I wanted. I understand Brian is telling me he's a nerd bully, but no, we should have still had him. No, bigger.
No, we were talking about this earlier, me and Brian, how the director didn't want to do the jock bully thing again because it's like that's 80s, right? That's the big jock, dumb jock. I'm gonna pick on the nerds. That's not really relevant anymore. So now you have the kid who's, like you said, he's like the nerd bully. He would be the guy on social media, on your Instagram, talking junk the whole time. You know, he's got money and he's smart, so he's better than you are. So it's a more modern take on it, and I'm cool with it. Like I was kind of tired of the old jock bully stereotype anyway. And then the MJ thing, they did that as a nod to the fans. She's not MJ. She's not Mary Jane. Her name is like Michelle.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, she's like Michelle Johnson or something like that. And her initials are MJ. So it was just a way to throw that out there because I don't think they're going to be using Mary Jane anytime soon, if at all. She might not even be in these movies.
If they do, she's got to be over 18.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't meet her until way later, out of high school, right? When she was a model already. Yeah. So, he can't really... Well, I mean, they did that in the first movies. They met when they were young. But in the comics, he doesn't meet her until way later.
Yeah, because Gwen's first.
Gwen's first. Even having Liz Allen in this movie even works because she was someone he was interested in too when he was in high school. And then spoilers for everybody, but she marries Harry Osborn, becomes the wife of the Green Goblin later on.
What's her special power?
Running a company. She becomes the CEO of Oscorp, I think, later. Well, she's smart in the movie. They show her she's the captain of the decathlon team, so you know she's smart.
I guess. I wasn't really excited about it. But
yeah, that superpower is not good enough for you, huh?
Not at all. Not for a chick.
Yeah, run a
business.
Run a
enough for you?
Yeah, run a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah. Nope. Oscorp can run on its own.
Just like Wayne Corp, right? Like no one's ever there, but everything's they still make money and get by.
Right? Exactly. I mean, this Playboy is like going around.
Yeah, the CEO's not even there, but they still make billions of dollars.
It's funny. I was talking about it with a coworker about how like the most boring superpowers in the comics are actually the most practical. Like Wolverine's healing factor. Like when you think about it, that's probably the one you want, right, in real life.
Yeah.
And there's another character in the X-Men. His name is Cypher, and he can speak any language, even like computer code. He can read and understand any of it. Like would probably be pretty useful in real life. But when you read in the comics, like, man, this is stupid. All he does is talk to like animals and stuff. But like in real life, no, that would come in pretty handy.
You can make some money off that. Yeah. Without having to break the law.
Yeah, you can legitimately make money, make a career, and make a lot of money.
Hey, I'm Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah, I can talk to anything, any person in the world, anytime. It doesn't matter.
There might be times where you might not have to kill some animals. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
He just wants a peanut. That's crazy. Me, X-ray vision. That would be nice.
Yeah, but what if you just see bones and that's it? That doesn't help.
It's too powerful. He just sees bones.
Gotta lower the radiation on your powers.
I know. I would be like, look, can you go ahead and put this lead capsule over just to kind of.
You have to wear you have to wear like lead sunglasses all the time.
Then I look like what's his name, Scott.
Yeah, you walk around like Cyclops, but instead of shooting an optic glass that destroys everything, you just see people's bones. Yeah. And you're just sad all the time.
Yeah, but I can tell people you're gonna die. You have osteoporosis or whatever. You better go see your doctor.
Yeah, that's a great power. Hey,
yeah.
you should set up an appointment. You might be sick.
Yeah.
But I'm not a medical professional, so don't take my word for it.
I'm just an X-ray tech.
Yeah.
What would happen then with pregnant chicks? I would be killing babies left and right.
Yeah, see? Now you're a supervillain. Good job.
There you go. Population control.
So you're a mutant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Spider-Man, I thought it was a great movie. Must see, I think. Check it out. Especially if you guys are still hurting or you got that bad taste in your mouth from Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Forget those movies. Check this one out. I think this is probably the third best movie after the old 1 and 2. I think those are classics. It's hard to top those. But this is really good. And it's in the MCU, so you see all the crossovers with the superheroes. Check it out. If you haven't seen Wonder Woman yet, check it out. If you haven't seen Guardians 2, check it out. Logan, check them all out. It's all good. Oh, and it's not a superhero movie, but I'm excited to see it. But it is another comic book movie, but Kingsman 2.
Oh, that's coming out soon, huh?
Yeah, that first one, man. That first one's great. And for those who don't know, that's a comic book movie as well, written by Mark Millar, who wrote Civil War for Marvel. But yeah, Kingsman movies are, well, not the movies, but the first one was great. This one looks really good too. I love the first one. That's it for me, guys. I think that's all I gotta say about Spider-Man. It's great. Go see it. You guys got anything else?
I agree with you. Everything was good with it. Hopefully they make a better one next time. No. This was a good. You guys fucked up Venom. It's okay.
Yeah, check it out. I really liked it, so nothing really else to add.
Brian, being as how you're not a comic book guy, this one though, there was nothing too out there for a comic book movie.
No, I mean it was like a little bit realistic, right? Like you mentioned earlier, like he was still learning how to use his powers and stuff. And one thing I thought was really funny was when his friend asked him like how far his web shoots.
Yeah.
And then later when he's at the golf course, you know, he just shoots up in the sky and you see the web just flying in the air and it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
and you know, like that was always a joke before, like when you watch the cartoons and stuff, he'll just shoot his web up in the sky and then it latches onto something. And
onto
swinging.
Yeah, onto something, right? It doesn't matter what.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what. Like, he just shoots up in the sky. You never see where it connects to. So this one's pretty funny. It doesn't connect anywhere. He has to run across the golf course.
Yeah, he ran out of buildings in the suburbs and he's just running. He's like, this sucks. And he's just going. That's another thing, too, that I liked was because he lives in Queens, he's not in Manhattan, so he's not climbing the skyscrapers. So, like, when he's on the Washington Monument, he's scared because of how high he is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I've never been this high before. And that totally makes sense because of where he lives. There are no big skyscrapers. There's like 4-story, 5-story buildings, but that's about it. And he got used to that. And then when something like that really big, he's freaking out. So I thought that was pretty cool that you could see him in the beginning of his career where he's not there yet.
What made him more human, too. It's
yeah.
Like, he is scared, even though he has these powers, and logically he knows he's not going to fall. He's still, like, afraid of heights or something. You know, it's still a fear.
He knows, like, oh, shoot, if I fall, that's it. I'm done. So, yeah, pretty cool. I thought that was another cool touch they added in there. But I guess that's it. That's it for this podcast. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to get really into Comic-Con. It's next week. We'll be out there Tuesday all the way through Monday. So, schedule's out. We're going to go over it, see what we want to do, and what else is there. Maybe tell some more stories. Brian missed the last one, so he's got some stories he can tell, too. But stick around for that one. And